Hello there. Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. And I want to discuss the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict that recently took place. And, of course, when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse, everybody can have a rational conversation. Sarcasm emphasized. Um, Candace Owens defends Kyle Rittenhouse. I hate to say it, but I'm not surprised. And I'm going to show you Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro's, and Michael Knowles, talking about this verdict. Well, mostly Candace Owens because she's all mouth. So let me go ahead and play this, and I will share a few words.
I have to say, obviously, I'm elated that Kyle Rittenhouse is getting his life back and that he's not going to spend the rest of his life in prison. But a part of this feels bittersweet. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Like, we're even having to go through this process, that we're even at the end of our seats wondering, is this guy going to get his life back? Or are people going to be so fearful of mob justice? Are people coming after their family? They're just going to vote the way that the mainstream media and legacy media wants them to. It's sickening to me also because of his age, and I'm talking about when this actually took place as a 17-year-old kid. His life is never going to be the same, right? You don't come out of this and as the same person that you were going into this. This is a kid that was smeared as a domestic terrorist and a white supremacist, not just by media members, but by the now sitting president of the United States. Then he was campaigning for to be president of the United States. This is problematic. So for me right now, I'm going to be completely honest. I want vengeance. I want to make sure that Kyle, until he's 92 years old, is suing every single person from LeBron James to Joe Biden to the people that are in Congress, Ayanna Pressley. This is not over for me. It doesn't feel like a win.
Okay. um, how what a dumbo she is. Okay. Yeah, I want to share a few words about this because she wants vengeance. I mean, I want vengeance against something that's really terrible to people. Private health insurance companies, union busters, people who commit, our politicians who send our troops to fight in Middle Eastern wars for neocon regime change sort of reasons. That's the kind of vengeance I would like to have resolved. But Candace Owens wants to sit there and defend Kyle Rittenhouse. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse was bullied in high school, and he became a high school dropout. Now, on that alone, I could feel sorry for the kid. Um, I mean, I'm no stranger to the concept of being bullied. I didn't drop out of high school, but I was bullied in high school, so I can understand kids are cruel and everything. But the thing about it is that what the effect that it had on him, because Kyle Rittenhouse ended up feeling like a failure. He ended up feeling like he's been shortchanged by life itself, and he wanted to feel like an alpha male. The whole toxic masculinity. And right there, very extreme case of it right there, and that's kind of how it starts. You have to kind of look at the roots of everything. Now, he lived in where was it? He lived in Illinois. I forgot the name of the town he lived in Illinois, where he crossed state lines, which to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and to protect a dealership. Um, Providing medical care, damage control over the Jacob Black shooting that took place prior. Uh, and the thing about it is, Kyle Rittenhouse was looking for trouble. And that's what it comes down to. No matter what the verdict was, think about it for a second. He came there looking for trouble. I mean, again, it goes back to wanting to feel adequate about himself. So he felt like he felt Look at me, I have a gun. I'm an intimidating person. Sure, I'm there for damage control with the first aid kit and all that crap. But he was there to look for trouble. Now, in 2017, um, Charlottesville's just about a 4 hour drive from me, Charlottesville, Virginia. And the temptation was to go to Charlottesville to protest against the neo Nazi assholes that were doing the Unite the Right rally and everything. And, they had their First Amendment rights, sure, and no dispute about that. But I also have anti racists have a right to protest against racism, too. This is those who are anti-racist. That's our free speech rights. And I'm not necessarily even trying to compare Kyle Rittenhouse to the neo-Nazi assholes that were out there in Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm just what I'm saying is that Kyle Rittenhouse was looking for trouble when he went to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and if I would have drove up to Charlottesville to counter protest against the neo-Nazi assholes, knowing what I saw that weekend on TV, I would have been looking for trouble. And I mean, and it's not that I was scared or whatever, but just kind of like it's a 4 hour drive, whatever, I'll watch this shit from TV to see how it transpired. So I just knew better than to look for trouble, and he should have known better in his own way than to look for trouble, but he found it. And the thing about it is, I know there is a not guilty verdict. I understand there's a not guilty verdict, but not guilty does not mean innocent. I do not consider him innocent. I mean, the thing about it is that sure, I mean, yeah, it's true. Joseph Rosenbaum tried to take the gun away from him. And so he shot Joseph Rosenbaum, and he was running away. And Anthony, what was his name? Huber hit him with a skateboard. He shot him. Okay, that I understand that. The Gage Gross Kruitz had a gun on him, and he shot that guy. And again, but he didn't get killed. This one got wounded. But the thing about it is, yeah, I mean, everything that was explained, I can understand. I understand that. But the thing about it is that Judge Bruce Schroeder was extremely biased in this case, in my opinion. In my opinion, he was very biased. Now, I was against the the acquittals that took place. I think that there should have been. I was against the actual verdict that came out, and I'm not saying that Kyle Rittenhouse should be put in prison. I mean, should be put in prison to be on death row. I don't believe in the death penalty. Thankfully, Wisconsin doesn't have a death penalty. But I don't think he should sit there and wait to be executed. I would be against him being executed. Kyle Rittenhouse, I don't even think should have been in prison for decades on end. I don't think he should be in prison for 30, 40, or 50 years or life or what have you. However, I do think that some jail time needed to take place for Kyle Rittenhouse. And I felt like there could have been a way that could have happened, but again, we have a criminal justice system which not just includes the prison industrial complex, the private prison industry that's a revolving door for crime in this country, and we don't, we have a lot of the cops, not every cop, maybe even not the majority of cops, but there's enough police officers out there that have have enough of a racist streak in them that they engage in the police brutality, that we just kind of look the other way. We don't care, or we are, some of us in our population are just kind of like, oh, those people got it coming to them, whatever. I mean, that's the mentality that they have. The thing about it is, with regard to our criminal justice system, which includes the way law enforcement treat most African Americans in comparison to whites or other groups, and the way that the prisons are with doing it through the private sector, along with the traditional penal system that we have. Um, the courts that they kind of work against people being charged in a lot of cases, and the continued use of things like the death penalty, or excessive time in prison. It's really fucked up. It needs major overhaul, major reform. Because what's done against black and brown people and what's done against poor people, regardless of their race, because there's some white folks too that they're down on their luck and they have the misfortune of being poor. And when you're poor, being poor is a crime. And only the rich and powerful get away with shit in this country. Um, and the thing about it is, with regard to the Kyle Rittenhouse, I do think that there should have been a way to put him behind bars, maybe 5 or 10 years. Because I mean, you know, it's just you're looking for trouble, and why look for trouble? Why look for trouble? I mean, I just think that it was a travesty. Maybe not the biggest travesty of justice. There are other injustices that were bigger travesty than this. Like in 1979, the Ku Klux Klan and the neo-Nazis that shot down a multiracial group of people from the Communist Workers' Party. It was called the Greensboro Massacre. And they came over there to a rally sponsored by the Communist Workers' Party, which no longer exists, by the way. But that's beside the point. They came there to go and to massacre these people. Why? Because they didn't like the politics. They didn't like the African Americans and Jewish partnership of fighting against racism that was under unity from the Communist Workers' Party. And so the local Klan and the local neo-Nazi people were going to go and make an example. And they went on trial, and they fucking got away with it. Yeah, it's true that they got away with it. So that sort of thing, it's this injustice is just another act of injustice, and there are far bigger injustices that have taken place. I'm sure there'll be far bigger injustices in the future, but this verdict was bad enough. Now, someone like some of the fuckers from the January 6th insurrectionists, like the QAnon shaman guy. Now, I would tell you that I think that 3 to 5 years is a little bit too massive of a sentence. I think in his case, because he's kind of loopy in the head and all of that. For what I found out, that I think he was in the military and he was like considered mentally incompetent, mentally defected. So I mean, think about it. You're gonna go dress up like a fucking shaman, with body paint and all of that, and because you believe the shit that comes from the conspiracy nuts from QAnon and Alex Jones and all of and all these crazy folks that out there that think that Donald Trump was cheated out of a second term for his presidency. I'm no fan of Al Gore, but there was somebody that was cheated from the presidency was Al Gore in 2000 down in Florida, and I know that the Supreme Court made a big, shitty decision in 2000 because look what happened as a result of that 5-4 decision that we ended up having to put up with Bush and Cheney from 2001 to 2009. Beside the point, I understand that. I meander a lot. And before anybody accuses me oh well, it's just like a leftist you are. You're just going to always take the side of the black and browns, and you're never going to take the side of the whites because you're a self-loathing white guy. I That's silly. And I don't believe in what they call reverse racism, that term. And I'll give you an example. Randy Weaver in Ruby Ridge, Idaho. He and his wife and his kids were white supremacists that they believe by moving to a remote area of Idaho, they practice Christian identity, and they believe that there would be some kind of rapture, and that they would be saved. All the white Christians would be saved. Christian identity believes that black and brown people have no souls, and they believe that Jews are the children of Satan. And that's what these people believe. And that's what Randy Weaver believed. So Randy Weaver and his wife and his kids were not very nice people. Having that said, they hobnobbed with the Aryan nations in Coeur d'Alene. I guess that's what I cannot pronounce. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. They hobnobbed and were friendly with them, but they never actually joined the Aryan nations. The FBI found a way to kind of to put arms charges on Randy Weaver, who was sawing off shotguns that were like considered illegal under federal law. I don't know the details of, but anyway, they're saying that they were going to be willing to drop the charges if he infiltrates the Aryan nations. What happened? He basically told the federal government to fuck off, and the federal government came in and to his property for, I believe, 11 days and surrounded the place and shot his wife, shot the dog, shot the kid, shot the family friend, and one of the one or two of the daughters still lives. Anyway, he survived and everything. And a couple of years later, the U.S. government realized what they did was kind of wrong to his family, because he never harmed anybody. He was just a shitty person that actually never done anything to anybody. And he just told the U.S. government he wasn't going to cooperate with them in infiltrating a group of bad people. Well, the U.S. government awarded him $3 million. And frankly, I think that was an okay verdict, even though Randy Weaver is a piece of shit of a human being. Now, with regard to Kyle Rittenhouse, as I said, I don't respect the kid. I don't want anything bad to happen. I mean, as I said, I don't think he should be fried because I oppose capital punishment. I don't think he should be put in prison for decades, but I don't think he should be able to get off scot-free either. And well, in Tim Black's word, he actually said this: if Kyle Rittenhouse would have been black, we know how the verdict would have come out. And thankfully in Wisconsin, there's no death penalty. So if this would have happened in Wisconsin, it was a reverse situation and everything. What would have happened was that the black person would be put in prison for life. Or if the January 6th insurrectionists would have been, if Donald Trump would have been theoretically reelected, and you have Black Lives Matter protesting against a reelected Donald Trump, and they did a Stop the Steal rally or what have you, and they would have stormed the Capitol, what have you. You think that there would just be a couple of a dozen people in jail and all of that, and the cost of be treating them with kid gloves? No, they would be shot down dead mercilessly. And anybody who doesn't believe that, they're delusional. And I'm not into identity politics or anything like that. I believe in what is called blind justice, and I do not believe blind justice transpired with this court decision. Some people call it another day of injustice. I call it Tuesday. So, the thing about it is, Kyle Rittenhouse is going to be a hero for a lot of folks on the far right. He'll probably. I'm hearing Matt Gates want to hire him as a as an intern or something like that. The kid will probably end up a hero of the right, and this. I don't know. And I think of the Trayvon Martin case from several years ago and how that monstrosity turned out with George Zimmerman being a free guy. And we all see, how fucked this guy, George Zimmerman, was all these years. But anyhow, that's pretty much what I have to say about this for right now. Trying to make sense out of this injustice that took place. So, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. Feel free to share the content on this channel. Um, as a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we're all the muckrakers of our time. Subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell. And we have some chats here. Kyle's an American hero, according to Mike McCormick. And Mike McCormick, you're wrong. He was putting out fires. Mike McCormick, he was looking for trouble. If Kyle was black, no charges. You're insane. No, I'm quite insane. I'm quite sane. I know how the justice system works. It doesn't work in favor of African Americans for damn sure. Not that it should work in favor of somebody because they're African American or white or whatever. If you're committing a crime, a real crime, no matter what color you are, yeah, the rule of law should take place. But there's no rule of law. It's basically a very flawed and fucked up criminal justice system that we have here in this country. Let's see if Kyle was black. He have statues in every city. I don't think so, Mike. I don't think so because, I mean, look what happens. We hear about people being shot down. Driving while black. I mean, it's a problem. It is a problem in this country. A lot of racial profiling that takes place in the United States, and just it's just horrible, and we need to go and fix our justice system to make it truly have it for justice for everybody, not just the wealthy, regardless of color, because there's a class element sometimes to the criminal justice system too, and certainly we should not allow the naked, raw racism that transpire in our criminal justice system, because it just is flawed. So I am going to go, and I will see everybody next time. I am Willie Bragg. Good night.